Hello everyone, and welcome to a 30-minute Pilates class for all levels of ability. I am Anna Maria. I am the creator of this channel and I am a physiotherapist and Pilates instructor. So in this class and in this video, we're going to be going through a 30 minutes Pilates class. They're going to be levels that go through beginners to kind of an intermediate level, not pushing it too hard. So if it's the first time doing the Pilates ever in your life, please make sure that you are comfortable with the exercises and that you are not pushing into any pain. Stick to the level that you feel most comfortable, and I will show you modifications for the different positions. All you need for this class is a mat, a folded towel, or a pillow if you feel like you can't stay completely flat onto the floor, and a little bit of a blanket. So the blanket is mostly because you want to put some padding underneath the knees to give you a little bit more softness on the knees, because we're going to be doing most of your warm-up on your hands and knees, and then in any other position that we will be doing the exercises on your hands and knees, it's good to have a little bit more padding underneath the knees, unless obviously you're going to be doing it on a carpet, which is absolutely fine as well. So before we start, just gather everything you need, and when you're ready, we can go. And before we start the class, just a little bit of a reminder that if you're new to the channel, please don't forget to hit like on this video and subscribe to my channel for weekly releases. So let's get going with the class. First of all, grab your blanket and place it underneath where your knees are going to be. So just make sure that you are happy with your space and make sure you're also a little bit safe so there's nothing in the way. Hands underneath your shoulders and knees underneath the hips. So we're going to start in this 4-point tabletop position. Now when you're in this position, you're going to put weight through the hands and weight through the knees. And then you're going to take a little bit of time just to shift your weight forwards and shift your weight backwards. Shift forwards and shift back. Nice and slow, getting your hands used to that little bit of weight. And then once you're happy with the pressure onto the hands, just make sure you have equal pressure, both hands and both knees, so your weight isn't too far back and it isn't too far forward. It's somewhere in the middle. And we're going to take a little bit of a cat-cow. So we're going to press into the mat, push the chest away, tap the tailbone and the head towards your tailbone. And then breathe out completely, let go, and ever so slightly lift the gaze. So you don't need to bend your head too far back. You can just lift your gaze ever so slightly. And again, breathing in, pushing the chest away, pressing the hands into the floor, and then breathe out. And again, breathing in, and breathe out. 2 more, breathing in, really feeling that you're pulling that tailbone towards your head, and breathe out. 1 more, breathing in, and breathe out. Very good. Now stop somewhere in the center. We're going to do a little bit of lateral flexion where we're going to bend your hip towards your head to the side, and then come back to the center, bend, go the other way. Come back to the center, bend, go the other way. So with your head, it's almost as if you're trying to look over your shoulder and bending shoulder towards your hip. We go 4, come back, 3, come back, 2, come back, last one, come back. Very good. Now we're going to do a bit of chest drop. So we're going to drop the chest by squeezing the shoulder blades together, then we push away. And this is primarily focusing onto your upper back. So don't worry about what your lower back should be doing, just really focusing on releasing any tension through and around that upper back. And then push. 3, and push. 2, and push. 1 more. Very good. Now stop in the middle. If you need a little bit of rest from your wrist, you can just offload your wrist a little bit and just make a circle with the wrist. And then do the same on the opposite side. And then just keep your weight on equal pressure front and back. You want to think of your tailbone pointing ever so slightly towards the direction of the ankles. Draw a little bit that front of your belly towards your spine, but you're not bracing in too much. Then your chest should be in line with those hips. Your head, don't let it drop down, just ever so slightly pull in. And you almost want to feel like you have a rod on the top of your head coming in contact with your neck, in between those shoulder blades and towards that lower back and tailbone. You're going to hold it there, and we're going to just slowly start with a little bit of an extension through your leg, starting off with your right, and then extend your left hand, and you can lift the leg up and then fold them back down. We're going to stick to the same side for a few repetitions. So we're going to reach, and then we're going to come back. We're going to reach and then come back. We're going to reach and come back, starting to warm up a little bit your core into the back of your leg as well. 3, come back, 2, come back, last one, come back. Now let's go the opposite. So we lengthen the opposite leg, we reach the opposite hand, and then we fold back down. We reach, fold back down. We reach, fold back down. For 4, come back. For 3, come back. For 2, come back. For 1. Very good. And again, if you need to offload your hands, just offload them a little bit. Roll the wrists to give them a little bit of a break. Coming back onto 4 point, we're going to stretch a little bit the back of your leg. So we're going to lengthen right leg, curl your toe, and just dip the ankle down and then release. Dip the ankle down, release. Dip the ankle down, feeling a bit of a stretch in that calf. 3, 2, 1. And then fold it back in, opposite leg, lengthen down and release. Curling the toes, getting a stretch into that foot, calf muscle and hamstring. 3, 2, 1. Very good. Now bring it back. We're going to do a little bit of a semicircle with the leg. So we're going to lengthen left leg away, making sure that back is remaining nice and straight. We're going to lift it up, and as we lift, we keep that back straight. We're going to open it out to the side and then bring it back. Open it out to the side and bring it back. Open it out, bring it back. Open it out, bring it back. 3, bring it back. And also this creates a little bit more movement into the hip. 2. Last one. Very good. Now we're going to open it out to the side. We're going to hold that position. We're going to even lift it a bit higher. So I'm just going to move a bit to the side. Hold it out to the side. Flex your foot. And then we're going to shift your weight back and forward. And this will give you a nice, good stretch into your adductors, your inner thighs. And it's a really good hip stretch to the outside. Nice and slow. 3, 2, 1. Very good. And then fold it back in. So we're going to repeat the same thing but on the opposite side. Just going to roll and change position. You can stay in the same position. So placing the padding underneath the knees. Weight on equal side, back nice and straight, chest in the middle, head in, lengthen through that right leg, and we're going to tap to the side, bring it back in. Tap to the side, bring it back in. So with this movement, we create a little bit more space into the hip, and then we continue to create a bit more space when we are out to the side, and then we move forwards and backwards. 3, 2, 1. And we're going to go another position. So we're going to go to the side a little bit for myself. We're going to go out to the side, hold it there. We're going to shift back and then shift forwards. Again, this will create a little bit more space into that leg, and it's a nice, really nice stretch into those adductors, creating a bit more space for your hip to move. 3, 2, Last one. Very good. Now come back into the middle, back onto hands and knees, and we're going to do a little bit of a shift, a little bit of a flow as well into your cat, cow, and then into pike. So first we're going to go into cat position. Then as we breathe out, we're going to lower hips to ankles, then drop the elbows, and then we slide forwards into an inverted cat. So breathe out, drop, and then breathe out, slide. Breathe out, drop, breathe out, sliding back. Again, breathe out, drop, dropping down. And as you're going into cat, remember, you're going to tuck the tailbone, but also bring ribs to hips. So really feel that stretch to the top of your head into your tailbone. Dropping down, coming back. 2 more. Arch, sit back, drop, and slide. Last one. Sit back, drop, and slide. Very good. Now we're going to go from 4 position into pike, and we're going to curl your toes, and we're going to push your hips up into ceiling. Stretch those calves and knees, and we're going to pedal a few repetitions there. 3, 2, 1. Bend the knees, and again take a breath into cat. Uncurl the toes, sit back, drop, come back. We curl the toes, take a breath. Breathe out, push that tailbone up towards the ceiling, heels down, pedal through your feet. Keep breathing, and then drop onto the knees, uncurl your toes into cat, sitting back, dropping down, shifting weight. 1 more time. Curl onto the toes and then lift your hips up to ceiling. Drop the heels, pedal through the feet. 3, 2, 1. Then drop the knees into, uncurl your toes into cat. Drop back and just hold it there. Fold the hands and hold into child's pose. Take a few breaths here. And out. Again, breathe in and out. 1 more. And out. And then come back into 4-point. Last position here before we turn onto supine position. So lying on your back. We're going to open your right leg here. So just make sure you create space. And we're just going to do a modified arm opening. So this is an addition to keeping your leg here. Normally in arm opening we keep it in 4-point, but we're just going to add a little bit different position with the legs. We add a little bit of a stretch. So we have right leg out, right hand is going to thread under, and then we're going to reach up to ceiling. And we go thread under and reach up to ceiling. So as we rotate away from that right leg, it adds a bit more of a stretch into those adductors and lift. And if you do suffer from tightness in that leg, in the inside of the leg, it's a really good addition to the stretch that we did before. 3, and then lift. 2, and then lift. 1 more. And then lift. Very good. Drop the hand, fold the leg back, offload your hands, give your hands a little bit of a break. You can stay in the same position. I'm just changing so that you can see the movement a bit clearer when you're doing it. So again, I'm going to put padding underneath the knees, hands in front, and I'm going to open now left leg. And again, we're going to slide left hand towards the right, and then it reaches up towards the ceiling. And again, and up, and again, and up. 3, and back. 2, and back. 1 last one, and back. Well done. Drop the hands and uncurl your leg. Very good. Roll the shoulders back. Very good. So now we're going to take ourselves onto the mat. So lie onto your back. You're going to remove your padding underneath the knees if you wish, and you will need a head towel or a pillow or anything that can give you a bit of support underneath your head. So don't need to have it too high. It depends on how you feel when you're lying completely on your back, but as long as your head is not bent too far forward or bent too far back, it's somewhere in the middle. So the next part of your class is going to be completely onto your back, and you're going to be really focusing onto the core and even a little bit into your posterior back, into your posterior chain. So get yourself lying on the mat, drop yourself down, head underneath, and if you have a bun like I do, it's ideal that you remove it so your head will lie in a nice comfortable position. So you want to just make sure you're in a comfortable position, your back is onto the mat. You're going to make sure the first few minutes that you lie onto the mat, you want to keep your toes, you get your posture right. So you're going to keep your toes in line with your knees, hips, ribs, shoulders. And then your head, neck and spine should lie right in the middle. So ideally you don't have your legs on one side and your body the rest. So it's an ideal position to be in. Hands by your side, and we're just going to do a little bit of pelvic rocks, and that will take us into some abdominal work. So we're going to press into the back, really doing that pelvic rock backwards, and then release. And again, we press and release, really just making sure that we're pressing that lower back rather than lifting and squeezing through our bottom, and getting that movement through that lower back. 2, last one. Very good. Now find your mid position, so somewhere in the middle, where your back is not completely pressed but not completely arched. It's somewhere in the middle. Your rib cage, make sure it's not popping too far up. It's nice and soft, so your abdominals work more efficiently, and they're in line with your hips. Shoulders are relaxed by your side. It's as if you're smiling through your collarbones, and hands are by your side. So let's start some abdominal work. We're going to start with the bottom bits. We're going to start with some scissor work. We're going to hover one leg up into tabletop. So this is what we call tabletop with the leg. Knee should be on top of your hip. And what we're going to do is we're going to drop it, and then we're going to lift. So this is your easy version, where you're marching on the spot. And then if you're happy with this position, what you really want to make sure is that you're not moving from that pelvis, and you are not tilting forwards or backwards either. So you want to make sure you limit the rotation and you limit the movement forwards and backwards. So literally the movement's coming from your legs. So if you're happy with that, you can keep one leg up, take a breath in here, and as you breathe out, you want to think of tightening the front muscle of your belly. So you're thinking of the position, the space between your front of your hip bones, and then you're going to slowly switch and switch and switch. So we're going to tap. Now, if you want to keep going and you want to make it slightly harder, you can tap further away. You just really want to make sure you're not lifting through that lower back, but you're not also squashing it all the way down. So you just want to stay somewhere in the middle, and you're also breathing in, breathing out. You're not holding your breath, so that you make sure that your pelvic floor is working with you, and you're not holding that whole dome of muscle into your core, all full of breath. And keep tapping. Again, if you want to make it harder, tap further away, open the angle of the knee, and we're going to go for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Very good. Drop the legs down. Make sure you roll your pelvis forwards and backwards to ease off any tension. Now remove your head pillow or cushion. Clasp your fingertips and place them underneath your head. And we're going to do an abdo prep here. So abdo prep meaning you're going to be pulling your rib cage towards your hips without squashing your lower back. So take a breath here. You want to keep all the pressure onto your head, so your head onto your hands, so you're not pulling your chin forwards. Take a breath here, and then breathe out. Pull ribs to hips first, and then your head and neck will follow. As you're up here, don't squash that lower back, and then breathe in, come back. So breathe out, ribs to hips, breathe in, come back. Breathe out, ribs to hips, breathe in, come back. Breathe out, ribs to hips, breathe in, come back. We have 5, come back. 4, come back. 3, come back. 2, come back. 1 more. Now we're going to do one more set. We're going to add a little bit of a layer where we go with your legs. We're going to lift the leg up. As you lift up, drop it down. Lift the leg up. So we're adding scissors to your abdominal prep. Again, if you can't push into this next level, stay with just either another set of scissors or else your abdominal crunch. And again, the second layer we can do, so if you want to make it harder, just lift the leg up into tabletop first, and as you come up, you switch. As you come down, you switch again. And then come back. Come back. So I'd say this is a bit into your intermediate level. Breathing out, breathing in. We're going to do 5 more. Come back. 3. Come back. 2. 1. And then for your last finish, you can keep one leg up, or you can drop your legs. You're going to hover up. We're going to go into your hundreds. Reach both hands towards your ankles. And we're going to take a breath in for 5. Breathe out for 5. Breath in for 5. Breathe out for 5. Breath in for 5. And out for 5. Breath in for 5. And out for 5. You're halfway through. If you want to switch the legs, you can switch. Keep those shoulders up. Keep your gaze looking forwards and keep ribs to hips. 3 more breaths. And out. And in. And out. 1 more. And out. And then slowly drop down and let your head rest, and just slowly rotate your head side to side to ease off any tension that might have built into your neck. And then just rock your pelvis forwards and backwards to ease off any tension into that lower back. Very good. So we're going to go into your shoulder bridge here. So work a little bit the back of your spines, and then we turn around and do a few exercises on your side to finish. So hands are going to go by your side. We're going to do a little bit of a shoulder bridge sequence. We're going to start with the easy level and then layer it up. So again, if you feel like you can't push into the layers, just stay at the easy basic level. So hands are going to be by your side. If you have neck pain, or even if you don't, I would suggest you remove the towel away from underneath your head. And then we're going to take a breath here, and then as you breathe out, we're going to press that lower back. We're going to squeeze the bottom. We're going to lift, lift, lift. Drive your knees away from your hips, and as you're up here, you want to make sure your ribs are in line with your hips and you're not opening those knees out, you're keeping them parallel. And then coming down, we're going to drop ribs down first, keeping those knees parallel, and then we drop the middle back and then your bottom. Again, take a breath. Breathe out, press that lower back, squeeze your bottom, lift, drive those knees away from your hips. Hold at the very top, making sure you're not pushing through the ribs, but you're pushing through your bottom. And then breathing out, come back down. And again, breathing in, breathing out. Up, up, up. Hold at the top. And then come back down. And again, breathe out. Up, up, up. And then drop back down. Now we're going to start hovering the hands. So come up. And then as you're at the top, you're going to float the hands up above your head. We're going to keep them above your head. Drop the rib cage down, middle of your back, and then your bottom. And then float the hands back down. So again, breathing out, you float up. Reach the arms above your head and drop down through the top, middle of your spine, and then your bottom, and then float your hands back down. Again, float up, squeeze your bottom and lift. Reach arms above your head, and then come back down. and drop. Last one, we lift back up all the way, hold it there. We're going to reach the hands and then we're going to drop them back, fingertips to ceiling. We're going to hold it there and we're going to slowly squeeze your bottom, bring your feet a little bit closer. We're going to hover right leg and then drop, left leg, then drop. So we're going to do your scissors into this bridge position. And then the last layer we can do is as you lift the leg, we're going to reach the arms as they go down and then come back together. Drop, lift, drop, lift, drop. 6, come back, keep squeezing that bottom. 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. We're going to hold the hands down all the way, squeeze the bottom up as high as you can, open and close for the last bit for 8, 7, keep the bottom up. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep the knees parallel, drop through the top of your spine, middle of your spine, and then your lower back, and hug knees to chest to finish. And rock a little bit side to side. Well done. Now we're going to turn onto your right side. So take your time to turn here. And then once you've turned onto your right side, we are going to be doing a little bit of side arm work. So we're going to pop ourselves onto our hand. If you do suffer from any wrist problems, you can do this onto your elbow as well. So the last bit of your class, we're going to be doing a side bend, and then we hold and we do some leg work. So once you're in this side position, your hand is straight. You don't want to sink into the shoulder. You want to lift up. Top leg is going to be straight, and you're going to squeeze that bottom underneath. And as we squeeze up, we lift the top hand up and over and then come back. Again, we reach up and over and then come back. So an easy version of this would be both knees on top of each other, elbow bent, and you just simply hover and drop. So that's your easier option. But if you can, go into straight arm, and we're going to squeeze, lift, and then drop. Really work on squeezing that bottom hip. And we're going to go for 6 and drop down, 5 and drop down, 4 and drop down, 3, squeeze and drop down, 2, lift and drop down, 1 more, bring the arm up towards the ceiling. Now focus on the leg. We're going to lift that leg and drop, lift and drop. And whilst you're in this position, just make sure you're tucking a little bit your tailbone and you're not flaring that chest out. So you really want to maintain a nice straight posture. Your core is still engaged. We're not holding your breath. We're still breathing. 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep that leg up. Keep the arm up. Hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fold in and turn into a little bit of a child's pose, reaching the hands away from you. Take a breath here and out. 1 more and out. And then bring your hands back in. And we're going to repeat onto the opposite side. So now lie onto your left side. Your arm is outstretched on the left. Knees are on top of each other, and then we're going to go into your side bend first. So top leg straight. We're going to lift up and reach, making sure we're not popping our chest forwards too far so we don't hyperextend through that lower back. Squeeze and then drop. So we go for 6 and then drop, 5 and then drop, 4 and then drop, 3 and then drop, 2 and drop. Last one. Bring the arm up to ceiling. Focus on that top leg. We lift and lower for 6. or 5. Again, just check your core. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold that leg up, reach the arm up, hold it for 3, 2, 1, and fold. Very good. And then come back and sit all the way back onto your hips, reach the hands and hold that position. Very good. And just take a breather, and once you're here, just shift your weight side to side. You're going to come back onto your hands and knees. We finish a little bit with a cat-cow as we started. Take a breath. And then breathe out, sit all the way back. Drop the elbows and slide. Breathe in, breathe out. Drop and slide. And now a modified pigeon pose where you're in 4-point position. We're going to bring the right knee forward, then walk your left leg back and try and rotate that right leg as much as you can. You want to try and aim to bring that shin with the short end of the mat, and then walk that left leg all the way back as far as you're comfortable going. If you can manage to reach the floor, that's fine. If not, don't worry. And then when you're there, you can also fall down and hold your position. Take a breath. Breathe out. One more. Breathe out. And then come back up. And then slowly walk in. Switch round, and we're going to do the opposite side. So we're going to bring left leg forwards, walk a little bit your right leg back, and then bring that left leg with the shin parallel to the short end of the mat. And then we're going to try walk as far down as possible. So for me, this side is the tightest, so I'm not going to be able to go as far down. And then if you are able to drop down, again, it's better if you don't keep pushing the position and try and maintain that rotation through the hip, because that's what you really want to stretch. And then once you're there, take a breath. And then breathe out. And then slowly curl your back foot. And then come upright and walk in. Uncurl your foot. And then just slowly shift your bottom side to side. You can come into sitting if you wish. Roll your shoulders back. You can do a nice mermaid stretch on either side. So when you're in this mermaid stretch, left leg is forwards, right knee with the left foot. I'm going to bend over towards the left. So you're stretching your right side. Hold it there. Take a big breath. Aim for your breath to go towards the side of your waist. Breathe out. Hold it there. And breathe out. And then come back up slowly. Switch over the legs. So you've got right leg forwards, left knee with the right foot. Lean towards the right, bend the elbow, lift over with the left. You want to try and make sure that left hip doesn't lift too high up, so you really stretch the side of your waist. Breathe out. One more breath. And breathe out. And then come back up. Cross your legs. And you're done. Well done for completing the class. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, don't forget to hit like to my video and subscribe to my channel for updates on weekly releases. Otherwise, I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.